Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, Tekken, damn it, 2026 is looking to be a very exciting year, at least if you're into deep cut consoles and systems like I am. That is because as of about 10 hours ago, Reverend Gumby released the first PC-FX core for MiSTer FPGA. Now, I want to temper your expectations right now. This core is basically in its infancy, and it isn't really going to be playing any games anytime soon. But the reality is, hopefully sometime in 2026, we are going to have a fully complete PC-FX core. Because when I say this console, even if it is a failure, definitely had some fun games. I 100% mean it. Because as long as I've had a channel, I've told anyone that would listen that the PC-FX definitely has some fun titles, and now that we've gotten some new English translations, including Team Innocent, there's going to be a lot of fun to play here. And I'm assuming 99 out of 100 of you have never played a PC-FX game before, and maybe about 25 out of 100 of you have never even actually heard of the thing. Believe me, comment down below and you tell me. Before we get too far involved, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, got a Patreon link down below as well. Now before I get to the actual core, a little bit of a history lesson on the PC-FX. It was a successor system to the PC Engine and TurboGrafx 16, and while it did have some incredible 2D, it basically prioritized for a lot of its library Anime FMV. Basically, NEC and Hudson Soft gave a masterclass on what not to do on a follow-up system, but even though it failed and doesn't have a large library, there is like 8 to 10 games that I absolutely would consider must-plays, even if the obvious PC Engine had a lot more games going for it. So if you do want to check this one out, it is available on GitHub, and I will leave you the link in the description below. But again, I want you to realize right now it is just getting into the overall menu and splash screen. It definitely does not have the appropriate colors, but this has been something that's been being worked on in the background for a while now, and I kind of pop into the channel and chat with people because I think I'm maybe one of 3 people on the MiSTer FPGA Discord that even owns original PC-FX hardware. So when you actually have to test to see how good games are compared to the real hardware, it's going to be down to maybe like 3 or 4 of us. But you will see here, you can get the actual BIOS menu where it says run, and you can get into the screen here where you would select the actual game to play PC-FX. Now those colors definitely are not correct, and that's because it doesn't really work on an RGB value. It's actually YUV. When moving over to something like MetaFet and PC-FX emulation, this is what you're looking at on the MiSTer Discord. And I didn't even capture video for this one because honestly, taking my MiSTer out during the move would be a little bit too cumbersome to get something that was just basically a corrupted splash screen. But this is definitely going to be a lot of fun because there is a lot of fun to be had on PC-FX. Something like Zenki right here, absolutely amazing 2D beat 'em up. It's not the longest game in the world. You can play it from start to finish in about 30 minutes. And if you want to buy an original copy, you better bring your wallet because we're talking a 4-figure game at this point in time. But it has stunning 2D visuals with some sprites that have some great animation, a lot of fun music, and a lot of fun gameplay. And this is one, like I said, I feel like basically nobody knows it exists and no one's ever played it before. And that is why MiSTer FPGA is amazing and Reverend Gumby's doing the great work here, because now when this core does exist and you can play games, suddenly a lot more people are going to discover that the PC-FX actually exists, and it's going to be a fun time. And as far as why that sprite was actually disappeared there, it's just because this is a 30 frame per second capture of a 60 frame per second game. I had to download this one from my actual YouTube archive because I am in the process of moving right now, and my hard drives with all my archival footage are actually in a box next to me. But hey, the move is definitely getting complex, and I will be in a new studio space and a new game room in about a week and a half, so definitely expect a lot of fun setup videos on that, because MiSTer FPGA is going to take a very front and center space when it comes to it. And now I feel like maybe in the next 6 months to a year, my PC-FX is another system that can go back in the closet and not actually sit next to the television. Because when I did my ultimate gaming setup video in my retro gaming room and in my main room, I kept the PC-FX out because it was the only real way to play the games on quote-unquote real hardware. But just imagine MiSTer FPGA playing something like Zenki, getting amazing graphics out of it, whether analog or digital, and discovering a brand new game you've never played. Or something like Team Innocent here, basically the precursor to Resident Evil that came out before. Absolutely amazing game that now is in full English as of about 8 months ago. It's also going to be our first soundtrack sample because this machine has incredible music as well as FMV cut sequences, and that's kind of why the hardware existed, so go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with a lot more technical information.
浴びちゃおう。だいたいさ、私がこんなところでシャワーを浴びなきゃなんないのはリリスがホワイトロッジのシャワーを壊したからじゃないねえ。まったくコンピューターはあれだけ使いこなせるのに一般家庭用品はまるでダメなんだから。ナイフを持たせりゃ刃を持つし、どこの 世界にシャワーをホースの根元から引き抜いて使う人がいるのよ。それも毎回。
I mean, the developers are totally going for a vibe when it came to Team Innocent and its overall theming, but honestly, this is basically Resident Evil before Resident Evil ever existed in a bright, cheery environment, and the idea that people are going to be able to play this someday on MiSTer FPGA makes me happy. And before you ask the question down below, yes, this will fit within the cycle and vibe on the MiSTer FPGA or Mr. Pi, because even though the PC-FX could keep up 2D vibes with Sega Saturn, PlayStation One, and other consoles of the area, it does not have any 3D capabilities whatsoever, which is definitely another miss for Hudson Soft and NEC. Because basically some years before they had the Iron Man or Tatsujin platform where you saw Hi-10 Bomberman actually tested on at some caravan shows, and they basically just trotted out that hardware, made a few fixes and shipped it. And hopefully we'll get a 3DO core as well soon from SRG 320, making 2026 the potential year where we get a lot of the weirdo hardware for something like MiSTer FPGA. Because if you know me and you know the channel, you know I love PC-FX, you know I love 3DO, and I want both of them to have a core in something like MiSTer FPGA. Or something like Zerogar here, weirdly the only shmup ever to come out on the PC-FX. Think about how many incredible shmups were on the PC Engine and TurboGrafx, and then wonder to yourself, why did Hudson Soft and NEC basically not prioritize that as a genre, because it absolutely sold hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of PC Engine and TurboGrafx units, and they basically go ahead, make new hardware, and put one and exactly one shmup on. But it is a really fun one because it kind of plays a little bit like a roguelike. When you die, you can actually keep some of your stats and then move on to your next gameplay session. And this is definitely another one I would say is a must play when there is a PC-FX core that can play games. It has amazing visuals, a really fun gameplay style, and it also has a great soundtrack, which you know is going to be my segue into the next soundtrack sample. Go ahead and listen just 30 seconds this time, but come back, I got more games to show you, more stuff to talk about. The really fun thing is, for a console that didn't have a lot of games, that didn't see much success whatsoever, there's actually a decent amount of English translations. Fire Emblem Story FX here is in full English, and it definitely is kind of an acquired taste when it comes to role-playing games, because it basically is a tactical RPG, but it is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of reasons to want to play it on something like the PC-FX. And that is definitely going to make this core have a lot more mileage, because of the few fans that are actually out there, they love to make translations. Just recently we got Team Innocent, and we also got Queen of Queens, the FMV female Japanese wrestling game. Maybe not one of the best games on the system, but totally a vibe. Or this game right here, which is impossible to pronounce, but I will try it. Rarula. That is actually the name, and it's basically a Metroidvania that has a rudimentary English patch to get you through it. It's definitely janky, you can definitely tell it's a budget release, but don't worry about how ugly the game is, because the FMV sequences are a lot of fun to look at, and the actual gameplay is a very charming Metroidvania that I'm pretty sure 100 of 100 of you watching this right now have never played before, but if you have, leave me a comment down below, because I would be very curious. And the best part about something like this core is, to date, we do not have an optical disc emulator for the PC-FX, and because it uses motion JPEG with a high bitrate, most CDRs are just basically going to freeze on these cutscenes, and you won't be able to watch them. When you actually play the games, it does work, but it is a little bit of a bummer, so even if all that's showing right now is this main menu with the corrupted colorways, it is still absolutely a triumph. Because even though the PC-FX didn't succeed and it was never made backwards compatible with PC Engine, it is another console that is out there in the wild. They certainly aren't making any more of them, and even if it should have been backwards compatible and prioritized everything that made the PC Engine and TurboGrafx successful, I want people to be able to play this and enjoy it. And considering consoles aren't cheap but aren't too expensive, but the games can be incredibly expensive and burning them is very problematic, and there is no optical disc emulator, an FPGA core for MiSTer FPGA would be a 10 out of 10 straight up win, and I am so excited that Reverend Gumby is working on this and is finally showing some signs of life. And that's why I love MiSTer FPGA. It isn't just an N64 console, it isn't just a PlayStation 1 console, or a Sega Saturn, Super Nintendo, or Genesis console. It can also be stuff like a PC Engine console, and that is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to experience this. So trust me, when this core actually is playing games, you're going to be seeing an entire testing series like you saw with Saturn and everything else. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.